why would you want to work with a game publisher? That's what we're going to look at. Show you some of the pros and cons of why you would work with a game publisher such as ourselves. So what the game publishing business is it's quite sophisticated, and there's a lot to think about. So why you would work with us when you can do it all yourself, at the end of the day, if you're an indie developer and you've worked on a title, you can certainly ship it yourself. You can do a DIY, you can launch it on Steam, you can put it on itch. There are plenty of systems out there to allow you to do this, do PR, and do all the various bits and pieces yourself, right? However, just getting a game out the door is just a start. Like even just looking at the screen here on the left, there are quite a number, there's lots of competition, there's loads of different things you need to look at, right? And at the end of the day, as a publisher, we just try and make life easier for you. So we give you support and we make it easier to get your game out there. So let's talk about that, right? So just a little bit about me, just why I'm in the publishing business. I'm actually my name is Scattergood, and I started in the games business way back in the 1980s, and I've been around the block a few times. I've had a couple of very big hits to my career. I worked on Moonwalker for Michael Jackson, Vigilante, an arcade game which is a big hit in the UK and in the charts. Games like Super Ted, if anyone is into cartoons and things like that, and lots more. And really what the Scattergood Studios is doing now is our mission is to sort of create new games, create, inspire, and play, right? So we want to have fun as well, right? So that's sort of who I am and what we're trying to do, right? Okay, so how do we help you? So we do a couple of different things, right? We try and make it easy for you. Like as an indie developer, you've got a lot on your plate, right? You're trying to write the game, you're trying to write music, you're trying to get the graphics together, and there's a huge amount of stuff involved just in the creation side. So as a creator, you're trying to spend so much time on that you forget about the outside world, so the creation stage is one big piece, right? Now as a publisher, because we're dealing with all of the other things on the outside world, it gives you space to work on the creation side, right? We also give you some assistance. As some smaller studios that we work with, for example, they don't have access to all the fancy licenses for Adobe Studio, ZBrush, 3D Studio Max, all this different stuff, right? So we can give you some licenses and we can sort of help you along the way, right? So based on the business model that we're using with you, we can help you. So that's one thing. Even still, just on assistance, again, there are things like you might need, maybe you need someone to help you design your maps, or you might need a sound engineer, or you might need someone to help you build some 3D models. And again, because we have a team around us, we can plug and play different resources to help you. So you may not need a full-time 3D designer, but if you had one for a while, that will be helpful, and that's where we can help you on the creation side, right? So we give you the support, we give you the space, and we give you some people, and we can give you some tools as well, right? And then the next phase then is on the inspiration side. So we try and inspire. So you're inspiring us to do our thing because we want to make your games really big, and we try and drive sales. We get your game out. We talk to people like influencers and newspapers and press people to try and get as much publicity around the game and inspire others to say, hey, what are these guys doing? What can we do? And if we can build that and we build a community around that, right, that helps us drive the company for you, right? Because it's a full-time job talking to people all of the time, trying to reach out to different curators, influencers, etc. And then finally, there's the play side of it, right? Once you've got it out there and you've launched the game, we try and get your game into the hands of more players so that they can get out there and play the game, develop a community around your game, and hopefully sell merchandise as well and get more sales around, right? So that's quite a variety of different things that you can do. So as an indie studio, you have a number of tasks that you have to do. And as a publisher, so we have a number of tasks as well. And working together, we can help you get your game out the door faster and more consistently and to a higher quality, right? So that's how we help. Just to give you a background of, we have a number of games that we are working on at the moment. So Ventilate, which is a steampunk game, so there's obviously that's big community based, sort of trying to get a very specific type of community interested in the game. Recoil, which is a top-down shooter. Gauntlet, which you'll see lots of media around at the moment because we just happen to be promoting it. And Don't Whack 'Em All, which is sort of a more casual game. So we have a variety of different games that we're working on and working with different studios, and we also have Crystal Edge Retribution in the top right hand corner there that we're also working on. So that gives us an insight into different types of games, an insight into the challenges that each type of development group has, and we can share our experience with you and share our expertise with you along the way. So that's the type of what we're doing, right? So once you got to you got your game and you've got, oh, we're nearly there. Next part is the monetization. So how are you going to make money on your game? And that's where we can help you, right? So our job, we've three sort of key pieces that we look at, right? One is how to maximize the revenue. So how are we going to make money on your game? Is it going to be straight sales? Are you going to have straight and inline ads? Are you going to have, maybe an inline ad version and you can pay for the full version? Are you going to have DLCs? What else can you purchase around the game? How can you maximize the revenue? And also, when you talk about maximizing revenue, revenue comes around at the launch of the game, and we'll talk about that in a second, and also around the long picture view of a game. So we look at the game as a game, but also as a product, and how to maximize the revenue for you and for us, right? We also look at boosting your sales. So one of the things that we work with our teams is we ask our teams to give us data from a press kit, media kit. If you have videos, you have animations, you have graphics, we can put graphics on mugs, on t-shirts and things like that as well, and we take care of all of that for you, and if we do it right, there isn't really a lot of extra work for the developers to do, because you can basically just say, well, there's the game, there's the assets, and we will take that and then we can produce that. We can produce content and merchandise from that for you, right? We can also use that content to produce PR, video, social media and things like that as well. So we help grow the sales and grow your merchandise around that. So we look at the game as multiple products. Okay, and we put it on multiple stores as well. So rather than just say, oh, well, we'll put it on an H and we'll use maybe Redbubble to put some t-shirts up, we just take care of all of that for you. And we can put it on multiple stores for you, right? And then we also focus on trying to grow your community as well for future sales, because once you have someone in it, it's not just once you have people who bought your game, it's not just a case of, well, they bought the game, that's it, it's all over, right? What you need to try and do is, well, how does that community take the game? Do they like the game? Are they going to follow the game? Will they be interested in a follow-up to the game? And you need to keep that conversation live all of the time. And that's where, you use things like Discord and Reddit and, different blogs to try and engage with your community so you can get feedback, ideas for the future, for new versions, and then that will help monetize the game as well. And it gets people more engaged. Like, people buy t-shirts for the games that they like. I know I do. So it's something that you can do. So that's part of the monetization. And we think about that all of the time, and we help you monetize your game. Now, obviously, as I was saying, the part of that monetization is getting the message out there. So how do we do the PR and the promotion? We do a variety of different things on that side, everything from talking to the press, writing press releases, translating press releases, sending them out there, and getting the message out to your followers. We work with influencers on a regular basis to try and get them to test the game, even review the game, which is even better, right? Because the more you can get other people talking about your game, the better. So our job is to get other people to talk about you, right? And that's where we build things like social media campaigns as well, and we try to build a community around the game, right? There's also the more commercial side of it, of building exhibitions and going to expos and demos and trying to get your game out there, get real people to play the games and sort of and get an interest going. And PR is a big thing. Like, obviously here on the left, what we've got, here's a dance group that we work with called Savage X, and this is a game, Ventilate, where they, for the last exhibition we did at Gamerfest, they were able to put together a whole dance production for us. Really fantastic to see it at the Scattergood Castle, and we had people like John Romero from Romero Games come along and see it as well, which is really brilliant. We got to dance with him as well, right? But PR is a big thing, right? So PR, last line there is about before, during, and after the launch, right? There's a lot more. There's a lot more to do in. There's a lot more in PR than just launching the game, right? And so you've got there's before the game you have to build up the expectations. So people are interested in, hey, what are these guys doing? I might follow them. I might wishlist them. So you're building that expectation up, right? Then during the game, when the game is launched, you do the big fanfare. You might do an event, but you try and get the big bang message out there and get as maximized sales at that one period of time. And then finally, then you work on the post-launch, and post-launch then is, well, okay, what are we going to do to keep the game sales and keep activity in the game for the next 6 months, year, follow on, right? So do we have a sequel planned? Do we want to sneak peek, tell people around that, you know? If you look at games like GTA, right, for example, they tell everybody that, oh, there's a press release come out that we might be even launching a trailer for the next version, right? So then they actually had a lot of big fanfare around the trailer for the next version, and then they got people interested in the trailer and said, oh, the trailer's fantastic. By the way, when's the game coming out? And you have to wait for the next press release. So they build a lot of expectation. So that's a whole big picture you have to do, right? And then, as I said, post-launch, you need to follow up with support for the players. How are they getting on? You know, do they want to buy? You know, have they got an interest? They want to buy some T-shirts or DLCs or whatever, right? But you have to do post-game support as well, and that's part of the PR plan as well, right? And then finally, and that's all part, as I said, just on the post-launch support, right? There's a whole load of different areas, right? There's ongoing sales support, there's community building, press relationships, because you can do, you know, once you've got your initial game out the door and the press are interested in your game, they want to know who you are. Well, what are you doing? What are you doing next? So that relationship has to be nurtured, and that's something that we do on an ongoing basis. And then they go, hey, you've got another game coming out. What's the next thing you're working on, right? And sometimes like that can be a bit of a pain for the developers because you don't want to be doing all the PR when you're doing the writing of the next game, right? So we work with that as well, and we help build expectations around who you are, where you're going next, and what your next game is, right? So that's sort of what really why you should work with a publisher. We give you a lot of support, and we help you along the path to success, right? If you need to reach out to us, you can get us on Scattergood.io, and we have phone number, whatever, and you can also check us out on Steam as well, because we're on Steam as well. So we help you create, inspire, play games. So let's go play games. Cool.